If you want to learn how to create this really trendy wedding table centre, then keep watching this tutorial because I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to create this very fashionable table centre. Good afternoon and welcome back to another tutorial. Now today I'm going to be using one of my gorgeous vintage containers. I often refer to this as a cake stand, but I think it's probably something that would have held beautiful sweet treats like chocolates. But it is really great for the style of arrangement that I'm going to do today. Now I'm not sure if I have a name for this style of arrangement, but it's a design that's massively fashionable at the moment in the wedding industry for table arrangements. It's often referred to as an up and down knee, but that's probably not a good description. The difference with this arrangement is that often no foliage is used and flowers are used to hide the floral foam or whatever your mechanics are at the base. And it's a difficult one for me because we tend to use large, quite expensive flowers at the base to cover the floral foam, which is a bit of an unusual concept for me because you're using your best flowers to cover your foam. But if you're in the wedding industry or you're learning to be a florist at the moment, this is a very fashionable flower arrangement that's everywhere at the moment. I've got a combination of mainly florist grade flowers. Some of them are left from the weekend's wedding and that I didn't use them all up. So it's a great opportunity for you to see them. And I've got one bunch that have come from the supermarket as well. So a bit of a mixture. I'm going to start by adding my little plastic floral frog, which is always a mouthful. So the little floral frog has some Oasis Fix already attached to the bottom. Make sure your container is dry, and I'm going to attach the two of them together like so. Give that a nice push down. Now if your container's wet, dusty, dirty, it's not going to stick, and I'm hoping that mine is clean. So that's what we're going to start with, and then that will hold my floral foam. That will hold my floral foam on top. And you might notice that I have shaved off a little bit of the foam from around the top. That hopefully will give me less surface area to cover. I am wondering, should I have taken a little bit more off? But being that I don't have my knife with me at the moment, it's going to have to stay like that. Now traditionally we would cover this with foliage to hide that floral foam, but this trendy style of arranging of flowers uses sometimes hydrangeas, carnations, large roses, open flowers to cover the floral foam, which is a strange concept to me because your most expensive flowers normally should be the most dominant part of your arrangement. So I'm reluctantly going to use one of my peonies here at the base, and what I'm going to do is cut it really short so it is literally sitting on top of that floral foam, and it's going to act as coverage to hide and mask my floral foam. I'm not going to tape it in because then I've got problems with also trying to cover the floral tape. So somewhere just by my side I have a few little roses which were damaged or they'd snapped during delivery. So the stem is already really small, but that means it's going to work quite well in my favour. So this probably would have been either thrown away, used in a funeral work, or it would have been used for a buttonhole. But I can now use it down low to help cover my foam. And it's an all-round table centre, so I need to make sure that I've got an even distribution, so something of interest is on both sides of the arrangement. And I'm just going to find that other little rose which I've buried underneath. So a nice clean cut on the bottom, remove any petals that might be damaged and place it quite close to that floral foam. It's a tricky one, this is, because you've still got to have gaps visible for you to put your taller flowers in. So as well as some open roses and that peony, I'm also going to introduce some Sweet William. Now these are everywhere at the moment. These are from the supermarket, and these are going to cut down really small. You're going to get lots of individual pieces to cover that foam from one head or one stem. So one stem goes a really long way, and I'm just trying to make a bit of an even colour distribution by blocking all the materials together. And that might be a good word to use, because blocking and grouping of the different flower types works really well with this. And if you want to practice this one, it's quite a good one to do when you've got flowers left over from another design that have already been cut short and you want to be able to use them up in this particular type of arrangement. So I'm now going to put in another one of my peonies. It's a shame they don't have any scent on them. These are quite blown open, so I've had these here a little while and they're not good enough to be sent out to a customer, but they're fine for me to show you how to arrange them. And now I'm going to almost start building up layers. So it's almost like tiers. We've done a layer or a tier of really low down grouped flowers. Now I'm going higher with the lighter weight and the more wispy flowers that I've got. So I've got 4 peonies and it's a really soft marshmallowy sort of pink, very, very delicate. I'm going to go slightly shorter. I'm getting carried away now and I'm trying to build in height too quickly. So layer up as you go. Hydrangeas are marvellous for this, particularly in the autumn time. There's a few little gaps showing where you can see my foam, but we're going to have this wonderful display. Hopefully, almost like a vintage sort of style arrangement at the end. Right, so this one now can come slightly higher, and I'm also going to remove the greenery off that, because you'll find with this style of arranging there is very little greenery included in the designs. It's maybe going to represent a slight crescent. It's going to be a bit taller on one side and shorter on the other, but it's a very beautiful style, but one that's quite different from the fashions and styles of arranging that have been around recently. All right, let's look to see what else I've got here. I'm going to do another rose. So off with the ugly greenery and then those petals that are around the top. Now, I'm calling the greenery ugly, and I did pause after I said it, because normally I like to encourage you to leave some of the natural greenery on, but we don't do it in this style. We take it off and we have a bold rose. Okay, so this now would be part of a display down the length of a table or maybe down the aisle. Very, very delicate, very soft. So this one is a clematis. And if you're part of my private Facebook group, then you will have seen the unboxing. And that Facebook group is open to everybody. You can come and join me over on there, and there are some added bonuses and some extras that you don't get on the YouTube tutorials. Also, at this stage, I'm going to say don't forget to subscribe, because that helps other people find us. It shows YouTube that these videos are exciting and it's something that they want to see more of, and it really helps this channel to grow. So like, subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a big difference to the visitors and the viewers to the channel. Right, so now I've got that really heavy blocked foliage at the base. Now I'm bringing up the lighter, softer, much more delicate material higher up. This one here is a garden foliage. It's the little flower from the heuchera, and it so suits this style of arrangement. It's something I don't think you can buy commercially, so you'd have to have one of these in the garden. It doesn't quite work so well with gyp or September flower, because that can be a little heavy, but it's really pretty, very delicate. And we've got not quite 2 sides, but different heights. And I'm loving it. So this one, another Sweet William, easy one to grow in the garden. Not quite this time of the year, but it will be coming up later in the summer. But it is available now in supermarkets. What you need to be careful of is that you don't damage your flowers as you're adding them in, because of course we've got those big peonies there at the base and we don't want to destroy them. Lucky for me, I've got another clematis, and your clematis that you'll grow in the garden won't be as straight as this because this is a commercially available one, but you could use garden clematis to create some trailing parts of a design rather than doing what I'm doing here and bringing it upwards. So years ago when I trained as a florist, we were always told not to have table arrangements that blocked the view from one side of the table to the other. But nobody seems to follow that rule anymore. They put big heavy arrangements in between the centres of the table so that they're almost blocking the view, which could be a benefit sometimes if you don't like the person that's opposite you. Let's keep adding in little soft wispy flowers. These are a Astrantia major, another one that will grow quite happily in a UK garden. But this one has come from the Florist Supplies. We make use of that beautiful movement at the top and that little nodding head. That's going to come so nicely onto this side. Now, to accompany this on a table, I would probably fill some little bud vases or some smaller glass containers with a matching selection of flowers, because then you're adding that really delicate, soft texture and colour combination, that really pastel colour palette to your wedding table, and a couple of glass candlesticks with some matching candles would be absolutely stunning. Right, so I don't think we're going to get many more flowers in there. So I'm going to finish, I think, this arrangement with some of the Lisianthus. This is a beautiful frilly-edged lilac Lisianthus. I'm going to thin it out so we're not adding too much weight to the top of the arrangement. I want it to be almost see-through and ethereal there on the top. And then the more open buds I can tuck in right down at the bottom, so I'm helping to cover my floral foam to make sure that none of that ugly green foam is visible there at the base. Just one more on this side here, and I'll step back and have a look, see whether or not I'm happy with the finished design. I think another piece of the Lisianthus just over on here. Now, you have to remember with all types of arrangements, there needs to be depth. It can't be flat in the centre. There needs to be a front and a back. And I've definitely achieved that by putting flowers in at different levels. And I'm also going to pop in, I nearly said plop in, pop in another one on the opposite side. So the skill with this is that your heavy base flowers are at the bottom, and then your really lightweight, soft and delicate flowers are towards the top. Maybe we block the view between the people sitting on the opposite side of the table, but it does look quite stunning and quite spectacular when it's all lined up in a row on a wedding table centre. Every time I step back, I see another little hole, so I'm just gonna tuck another Lisianthus down in that gap there, and I think I'm pretty much finished. Now, I think that is absolutely wonderful. It's really delicate, quite vintage in its appearance. Lots of different shades, textures and colours to complement one another. It's probably something that you could do quite easily with a mixed bunch from a supermarket, because you don't necessarily have to have matching flowers for this particular style, and you can add in any flowers that you might have growing in the garden. You could even use some wild flowers that might be growing in the hedgerows or any wasteland that you have around you. There are lots of dog daisies at the moment. There's some lovely rapeseed. So have a little look out when you're driving, particularly if there's an area where you can pull in and park. There might be lots of delicate flowers that you can pick up and use in this style of arranging. So I hope you've liked that style. This is an arrangement that I don't really know has a particular name, but it's very fashionable at the moment, and I hope you've really enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and share, comment in the box below, and I would love you to subscribe to the channel because that helps other people find us. If you want to click the notification button, then please do. Most videos are uploaded on a Sunday afternoon. A great time for you to sit down, have a cup of tea or a cheeky gin and tonic and watch a new tutorial. As ever, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that one. I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.